Nithyanandam, with all auspicious blessings and grace of my Guru, Paramahamsa Sri Nithyananda Swamiji, I welcome you all to this video. I am absolutely humbled. The overwhelming responses I have received for the video just adds more and more joy to me. Thank you so much. I would like to start today's video by responding to one viewer's request on certain clarifications she has been having with depression. In my last video, I had addressed depression and broken the myths of depression as Swamiji has taught us to do. And I am glad that people are interactively asking, wanting to know more and more about the myth of depression. Please understand, depression is a myth. It is nothing but a myth created by the society around us. So we don't empower ourselves to break free from our own negative thoughts. Addressing the first question, there is a viewer called Gurupreet Man who's written in, I'm extremely shy and extremely fearful. I'm afraid of doing anything that I will lose. I used to sleep whole day and night. My memory power is very weak. I think I'm suffering from depression. How can I get rid of it? Firstly, Gurupreet, I would like to tell you, you are not suffering from depression. As Swamiji says, there is nothing called depression. It is a myth. Swamiji has clearly defined this. The non-involvement of life, where he says there is an active ego and the passive ego. What you're suffering with is, or what you're struggling with, it's not a suffering, it's a struggle which you can decide to break it. You're struggling with the passive ego as Swamiji has taught us. With the passive ego, what happens is you're afraid to do anything for the fear of losing people's respect, people's opinion. I have never met you, but based on your statement, I feel you have a lot of concern about how people perceive you and how people hold you in themselves. First law of the world, as Swamiji has taught us, is you can't please everybody all the time. It is not going to be happening at all. So we first have to come to that reality, and you should be complete and powerful with that feeling. It is not possible for me to make everybody happy with me, but let me be true to my identity and be authentic to what I have come to live for. Once you find the authentic purpose of your life, all the so-called opinions, everything will just disappear. And you have to stand on the platform of integrity and authenticity and start dealing with each situation and each person based on the integrity and authenticity of the purpose of your life. Then you will see how things start changing around you. You will start attracting people who like you for who you are, who love you for who you are, not for what they expect you to be. So if you break from the passive ego which you are struggling with, your memory loss will disappear because you will be so active in life and you will want to do so many things that the memory will start automatically happen. The joy, the activism and the dynamism you will have in life. I would really recommend you to watch Swamiji's webinar on which he spoken about the karma. That is one of the path-breaking webinars I have recommended to all the people I know, because we each think there is something wrong with me, there is something wrong with me, but how do I get out of it? So we go to a doctor, we go to some psychiatrist, we go to some temples. Temples are great as a psychological support, but there is nobody live who can guide you step by step. This is the way to do it. No, you should not do it this way. You are taking the wrong left turn, take the right turn. Take right, go straight, then take the next left. Temples don't do that. And in today's world, the only person who is available to every human being, the only incarnation, I will not say person, the only living incarnation available to each and every human being is Swamiji. So even before you decide to come and see him or meet him, I really recommend that you watch this webinar on the karma, which will give you great breakthroughs in the way you are thinking, the way you've been taught to think, the way you've been taught to respond. Why I'm saying this so confidently is because, like you, I have lived outside in the world. Let me differentiate here why I'm saying the outside world. In the army personnel are called the army personnel, and then the rest of us are called the civilians. So based on that, I am telling you, Swamiji's devotees are a class apart. We are cut above the rest just because nothing else, but just because we apply his teachings in our daily life, and we don't allow any kind of struggle, any kind of sufferings to hold us to an extent where we give up on life and we just sit in a room and ruminate. Oh, I am like this, I am not able to break it. Because the first thing Swamiji does is break those thoughts. You cannot be depressed around Swamiji. It's a simple, straight thing that you cannot be depressed. You can try your best, but the moment you start even following his teachings or listening to his teachings, just the sheer authenticity of his words will force you to look in, and the so-called fear, you will understand what is stopping you. Which, once you start understanding where you're struggling, where you are, what is stopping you, why you are thinking the way you're thinking, you will want to break through the thinking. I'm sure none of us want to be stuck in a struggling, suffering, a victim mode pattern where we're always blaming someone or the other, or saying, oh, I'm suffering, this person didn't do this for me, that person didn't do this for me. None of us want to live in that kind of a thinking lifestyle. But since we have not been shown that there's an other way to deal with this, that there's an other thinking pattern that we can apply to make us change the way we perceive things, the way we perceive life, we all have been stuck in this blaming others pattern, this, oh, I feel everybody should love me, I need to be respected by everybody, I'm afraid what people will think of me if I wear a black colored dress, I'm afraid of what people will think of me if I go to the temple, I'm afraid what people will think of me if I don't go to the disco, I'm afraid what people will think of me if I don't have a boyfriend. I mean, why should we care about these things? As long as you are true to your own self, none of these will bother you. And I can tell you because I have experienced it myself. So again, I would really recommend that you watch Swamiji's webinar on the karma. I will probably put up the link somewhere here, or you can go to Swamiji's channel on YouTube called Nithyananda.tv. You will find many such solutions, but first I would really recommend you go in for the karma webinar. Thank you for writing in, Gurupreet. It was such a joy again for sharing one of Swamiji's most easily applicable teachings with you all. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Nithyanandam.